The 9 Years Podcast.
Good morning, afternoon or evening, and welcome to the 10th edition of the 9 Years Podcast, a weekly audio fanzine dedicated to AFC Wimbledon. My name is Nick Draper, joined as always by Stuart Deacons, and we'd like to thank you for listening to this week's show, whether you're listening through iTunes, YouTube or podomatic.com. Now, last Saturday, after the Barnet game, Stu and I locked the club's kitmen, Robin Bedford and Trevor Williams, into a broom cupboard somewhere in the bowels of Kingsmeadow to talk about their roles at the club, and obviously we got chatting for some time on other various Wimbledon issues. So we've broken our interview into two parts, and today we'll broadcast the first half hour or so of our chat. Today we're talking about players' pre- and post-match routines, the role of academy players on a match day, why we never seem to play in blue away from Kingsmeadow, and which first teamer enjoys a nap before kick-off on a Saturday. But before we do that, just want to give you guys a little reminder, if you are a Don's Trust member and you have not yet made your vote for the stadium issue regarding the Back in 2 Ticks campaign, you only have a couple of weeks left and the Don's Trust would like your vote as soon as possible. So check your inboxes, check your emails, check your postbox for your proxy vote. Give permission for the chairman to vote on your behalf on the meeting of the 22nd of October, but you need to get it done before the 20th. So please, please, please get us back to Merton. Play your part. Vote now. So, on to our interview with Trevor Williams and Robin Bedford. But before we spoke to them, I asked Stu what he made of our first clean sheet of the season against Barnet on Saturday.
Yeah, it was an interesting game today. I felt we came out of blocks again really well, as we normally do. We've done that recently. Got a couple of corners early on. And you could see straight away Lyle was going to give them some problems. The goal, when it come, was really a goal. Played it in between the left back and left centre back and rolled him really. Defender really had to go right through him to get the ball, which was really good. Lyle showed really good strength, then knocked it into the corner. It then eased off a little bit, which has happened recently in some games that we've had, isn't it? And then the penalty shout, Aziz got into the area on the left hand side, and the defender really played him really. I don't think he really needed to, so we got the penalty, and then George unfortunately telegraphed it into the keeper's left hand side. From then, Martin Adam made some changes. He brought Gash on, which is interesting, playing against Shemi at the back, wasn't it?
Semi-ruined Gash.
Yeah, so there's kind of puns with that, but it made it into a bit of a scrap. They looked like they went with McLean on the left hand side and played Gash and Akindi, but then McLean joined in, and I thought McLean looked lively, which you probably would think was always his career he's had. Yeah. But it became a bit of a messy game, really, didn't it? And we sort of got caught in between playing, probably trying to get in behind, but it became very scrappy. And I think in the end, I was quite pleased, really, to get a clean sheet. We've said for a little while, I don't really care how we get a clean sheet. Let's just get a clean sheet and build from there. So good win, and Martin Allen didn't seem to take it too well, so that's always quite pleasing as well. Sometimes
he did seem to storm off in a bit of puff at the end of the game. So Stu, who would you go for as your man of the match today?
Well, I've just come out of the middle bar with Lyle Taylor getting man of the match. I think you could have picked any centre half, so I went for Robbo, really. I think he's now starting to come into his own. You can tell now that he really leads by example. Forever talking to Shemi all day today, reassuring him, patting on the back when he's done well. I think Robbo done well today, and really we need our centre halves to really start really just playing well, so we can keep getting clean sheets.
Dare you venture a suggestion for a player that didn't have the best of games today? Can you pick someone? Would it be harsh to pick someone today?
I think it would be. I think the obvious one is George, but I don't think actually he'd come off. But I think George, again, put some decent balls in. I stand in the terrace in. I think sometimes you hear people moaning about George's quality, but actually the stuff he puts in, he could equally moan about the attackers not getting on the end of it. So I thought we'd done it well. I think it'd be harsh today. I think it would be harsh to pick anyone. I think we've done well.
Okay, today on the 9 Years Podcast then, we're joined by the club's kitmen, Trevor Williams and Robin Bedford. So as your guests on our show, we have to ask you a few questions about your time sort of supporting AFC Wimbledon, or Wimbledon FC, how you want to say it. So Trevor, if I start with you, when was your first ever Wimbledon game?
Oh, it was Carlisle at Plough Lane, and we did it and I remember looking it up for the the We Are Wimbledon thing when you put your first game on.
Yeah.
And I remember
Yes.
it was Carlisle at home, and I couldn't remember when, and I couldn't tell you without looking it up again. I couldn't tell you, but it was Carlisle at home at Plough Lane.
Do you remember the score of that one?
It was a massive win, I think.
Because I'm wondering if that was Paul Raymond's first game.
Paul
as
Raymond did
well.
have a
It'd be
Carlisle game as well, didn't
It was something silly. It was like a 6 or something like that.
Okay. That's
But
it.
obviously, I don't. We need Mikey T, don't you? Encyclopedic Mikey T.
Yeah, we do need Mikey T. We need to get Mikey T on the show, don't we? Robin.
That is a show, isn't it? Though, Mikey T.
That is, yeah.
Well, he'll be happy to say, because I think he was saying earlier, we played on this day 5 times at home, and we'd always lose. So we've finally broken that record for him. So he'll be quite happy with that.
Yeah.
Anyway, my first game was Luton Town at Plough Lane in 1988. March 1988, so just before we won the cup.
Okay.
We won 2-0, and Fashanu and Gibson scored, I think.
Little and larger.
Little
larger,
much, yeah. Trevor and Robin, whereabouts then? Because Stu and I, we were watching from the Tempest end then today, or the Kemplo end, as I should say now. Whereabouts are you watching? Whereabouts do you watch your games from?
I watch from the tunnel.
Okay.
I watch from the tunnel, so basically I can get access to the dressing room and areas like that. And
I sit on the end of the bench. There's not enough room in the bench, which is always nice, especially when it rains. I'm on the bench just making sure all the players have whatever they need, water, drinks, blood shirts, things like that, just in case anything like that happens.
From your viewpoint, would you agree with sort of Stu's summary of today's game? Is there anything you want to add?
yeah, I think I agree. It's like, again, we were massively dominant for 25 minutes, and we got the reasonably early goal, which was a great finish by Lyle, proper good finish. And then again, George, we probably should have been 2 up. And then I thought last night it turned very scrappy. It was a battle. It was League Two. It was horrible. But I thought what was most impressive, if you think like that period in the Northampton game whereby they put cross after cross into the box and eventually we succumb, there wasn't a free header today. No one missed a header. No one was a yard off for their man. The centre-halves covered each other. The full-backs covered.
Yeah.
Despite all their pressure, did Shazy have a save to make?
No, this is the thing. So I was saying I haven't seen the stats, but I can't recall him having a shot on
possibly
target.
there was one shot, and that's because we defended so well. We'd not always defended that well. Like if you think that Northampton period, you could sort of almost see it coming.
Yeah.
Today, no one had a free header, and you think you're dealing with Inakindi and Gash. You're dealing with 2 great headers of the ball, and for me, I thought Shemi was man of the match today. I thought he was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, we were having a chat as well, sort of between ourselves. I thought Paul Robinson as well, outstanding.
I think when you've got your 2 centre-halves playing against the front 3 of that quality, of the quality of McLean and the physicality of Big John Akindi and Gash, I think your back 4 have done a great job. Not only was a clean sheet, and also Shazy's had a reasonably comfortable afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has. When you think about who you're up against Akindi, I think early on they got him behind, didn't they? I think Robbo was chasing early on, but I think after that we really squeezed up quite well. Shemi, which wins everything in the air, quite comfortable with his feet as well. But I think Barnet are going to cause people problems. You can see how they play. Martin Anna wasn't frightened to chuck on an early sub, which the sub was probably, 25 minutes today, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it didn't look like an injury to me, it looked more of a tactical. So he's not frightened to change it around. So, I know the away record's not great, but we just need to get a win, whatever we did. So, pleasing to say.
As I say, we're in Kings Meadow at the moment after the Barnet game. We are joined, as I said, by Trevor and Robin. Now, we want to have a chat with you guys about your roles at the club and sort of what you do on a typical match day and what you do during the week. I know there's a lot of travelling involved in your jobs for the away games, but take, for instance, a home game today. What time would you normally arrive at Kings Meadow on a Saturday, and what's your first sort of job?
Well, we tend to get in about 10:30, 11ish. We set out the kit, so shirts, warm-up stuff, shorts, socks. Every player has basically slightly different requirements. Some have undershorts, some have little white socks, things like that. So as soon as the players arrive, usually about
They're pretty much about 11:30, don't they? So it's normally sort of anything after 45 minutes after that. So about between 12:30, 1:15, really.
So basically, the players will come in and literally everything's ready for them to get changed whenever they want. Some will go have treatment with Dougie or massages or rubs. Beast will have a little sleep in the physio room. And then the music will be playing, and that's about it really.
Yeah, we've got the staff kit as well. The staff all have match day kit. We have Rocket deals more with the players' kit. We're both in the dressing room because there's always something comes up. Someone wants this, someone wants that, someone needs something from somewhere. So there's always something going on. There's a typical group of things you do, but then there's always something. Somebody wants something, or that. Also, we deal with Rocket deals mainly with the kit. We also have the under 18s on jobs. So we have 5 under 18s, and they all have to do stuff like get the gear out onto the pitch and that sort of stuff. We have the mascots coming in, so we have to liaise and make sure the mascots come in at a time that's suitable. So obviously, sometimes the gaffer does a meeting at 1:30, so then the mascots have to come in later. The under 18s then take the mascot round, introduce them to all the players, get their programme signed and that sort of stuff. And that's good. That's good because they get to speak to the players, and also it's good for the 18s to be involved in the dressing room as well. So they do. So basically, I supervise them. They know what the jobs are, but obviously they're 18-year-old kids. So it's a bit like herding cats sometimes, but they're a good bunch to be fair, and they all know what the jobs are. So the jobs are getting the players food from the kitchen and doing teas and coffees and stuff like that. Sort of typical sort of apprentice sort of things, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, because we've mentioned about before, knowing sort of the youngsters doing jobs on a match day and stuff like that. It was almost like the old apprenticeship sort of scheme. Is this something that's done at other clubs now when you've been to away games, or are we sort of unique in that?
You often see under 18 sweeping the dressing rooms up.
Right.
Ours have more of an involvement in the matches. They take the mascots around and stuff like that, and they do other bits and bobs. I think it's probably ours who.
You brought it in here, yeah. Although I think we were it was about to be brought in anyway. That's the last end of Terry's era.
Yeah.
But usually, when we used to in the conference, used to go to the sort of the old league clubs, as it were. You always used to see apprentices there. So it's a kind of an old school thing, but I think we do it in a more modern way. Yeah. A bit more, as Trev says, they're a bit more involved, and it gives them an experience of the dressing room, so that when the Ben Harrisons come in, they know what's going on.
They use
and they know the first team players as well. So it's another way.
That whole transition up.
Yeah,
really
so it's not quite as nerve wracking.
It's not like when like you talked to Bass about when he did apprenticeship and he'd be at Charlton. He'd have to be at Charlton at 8:00 in the morning and he wouldn't leave till 5:30. There's nothing like that. Do you know? Like it's a sensible set of jobs and it's a reasonable set of jobs. And to be fair, I think sometimes they enjoy doing it as well because they get to be in the dressing room, they talk to the players, they get to wander around. Some of them do ball boy, they go on the pitch at half time and do divot and stuff like that. It's nice. It teaches, gets them a broader view of the club as well. And also, he also explains to them that the people you're dealing with, they might be staff, but they were probably also volunteers as well. So, and to be fair, Robbo drills them well as much as did. So they know that if they see someone who's working, it's not necessarily a paid employee of a club; it's a volunteer and stuff like that. So they're very respectful. They're good kids, to be fair.
I think it's fair. Like where my girlfriend sits, I swear my fiance, I keep forgetting. She stands every time. Yeah. She stands. She obviously sits with her dad in the table section, and she sits.
Right, sorry.
She sits with her dad in the table section, and the youth team actually stand behind. And she's always very much saying how respectful they are, how they say hello. They make sure they're really ambassadors of the club as such. I think. So going back to that, how are they selected the under 18s? Then is it done on performance, or
it's sort of rotated really. They all have to do it, and they all have to do it. Yeah, they are. I mean, when we had the Liverpool game, they all wanted to do it, didn't they? So
yeah,
it's like the Tuesday night might not be Tuesday night at home in the League Cup might not be quite as attractive, but well, certainly in the Coca-Cola. I mean, but they do it. And for the most part, they're good as gold. I mean, but when it came to Liverpool game, basically it was like pick which ones you want.
Yeah.
So you pick the ones that are good, you pick the ones that always work. There's a few of them that are not terrible, but like just fine. Like Daniel Adge, love him. He always you just leave him alone. He'd find somewhere to sit down and have a little snooze there, or he's having a little snooze anyway. But to be fair, there's not a bad one there. They'll come and they do their jobs. They're as good as gold. To be fair.
So when you're coming in at 10:30, so 10:30 you normally start a match day, and so the players sort of arrive about 45 minutes after that. Who is it? The regular sort of players, the first ones to arrive, and then the ones that are latest, or is it just?
There's a few like Shazy and that normally arrive quite early, and
it's usually that. Yeah, and then you get. I think who comes in late.
They're never because they have a pre-match. They're never late.
Yeah,
they're never late. So
no one's late, but
which you can't be really. So, but
yeah. Do they do a pre-match now? Then is that something Neil's brought in? Because I know he's looking at doing that stuff, wasn't he?
They do a pre-match.
Yeah, I think especially since Ross Warner got stuck in traffic.
Do you remember the FA Cup game where the A3 was an absolute catastrophe?
Since then, we've always, for every home game, there's been They have a pre-match.
Because it sort of, you get them all together, so you know they're going to be arriving at the same time, basically. And after that, it was a freak. It was a freak night. Basically, wasn't it? So,
and it's something they've worked on, because I remember Neil was saying that in terms of before they didn't always have breakfast maybe on training, did they? Or breakfast together. I think it's something they're doing now, isn't it? Having breakfast, eating properly.
Actually, it's all part of ours. It's all part of ours is trying to make things as good as possible.
And getting in routines as well. So you do the same for home games as you would for an away game.
Yeah, exactly. You think you do it on an away game. You think you know the boys are eating at the right time, the right stuff at the right time. So it makes perfect sense to do it at home games as well. Because otherwise, mass and sensible, and they'd eat properly and do what they need to. But if you're doing it for away games, it makes perfect sense to do it at home games as well.
Yeah.
So one's after a game then, how long, I know obviously we're recording the podcast today, so you might send it a bit later, but normally, what happens normally after the final whistle goes? What do you guys have to get sorted for before we move on to the next one?
It's a tidy, basically, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of putting all the shirts together, all the dirty washing in piles of which the kids help with, and then just putting stuff away, and a little bit of getting stuff ready for the next game if possible. And just tidying up basically, because obviously we can't leave stuff out because K's are usually here either next week or so everything has to be put away.
What time do you normally sort of finish up? What's your working day?
It depends a bit. So 5:30, 6ish normally.
So I'd say 6:15 or whatever. The kids also clean the dressing rooms as well. So the dressing rooms, the dressing rooms are always clear. The floors are clear. The bins are empty and stuff like that. Barnet today completely cleaned their own dressing room.
Nice. I've read about this.
They do.
Get
a reputation.
They bring their own mop and buckets and stuff. And they were completely clear.
Really?
Yeah. We try and leave it tidy. To be fair, I'm not going to pretend we leave it like that, but we try and leave it as tidy as possible at away games. It's fair play to them. They do it. It's brilliant.
It's really good. That's really good on Barnet, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very good of them. With us on away games, then. So how would a typical week go when we travel up to an away game? Then, do you travel up with the team? How does the kit travel from here to sort of our more northern away?
It varies quite significantly, really. Okay. Partly because obviously we work, so sometimes we can't travel on a Friday, so we'll go up separately on a Saturday. But generally, we'll get the coach up on a Friday. We'll pack the kit on a Thursday night, so we'll come in. That takes 3 or 4 hours to put all the kit together.
It takes a surprisingly long time.
Yes, people don't realise. So we do that usually on a Thursday evening, and then we'll travel. They usually travel from sort of 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock on a Friday. They'll go up and train somewhere, and then get to the hotel.
There's a few categories of away game. There's the on the day away game, which is basically normally meet at the ground at 9 o'clock, pre-match at 11:30 somewhere. Then while the pre-match is going on, me and Rocket will go and do a kit run. If it's an overnight away, then again that's leave at 9 o'clock in the morning, train on the way up. In which case, then we have to in inverted commas, we do food for the players. So we take an extra couple of microwaves on the coach, and then we'll do like chicken and rice. So once the boys finish training, they get like a chicken and rice sort of meal and stuff like that, which is and as much Nando sauce as they can handle. And to be fair, they quite like it, don't they? Sort of like once they've eaten, so they get a decent enough meal.
Yeah.
So that'll be, and then they'll eat in the evening at the hotel. So it's quite a sort of a movable feast, as in when you do stuff. And also they've taken a few trains as well.
Yeah.
And obviously when you take trains, we can't get the kit would cost as much as the train ticket. So then we go in the Rockets kitmobile.
The kitmobile.
So it's a Renault traffic van and shovel. The kit fits just perfectly. And then we'll get to for any game we do a kit run. So we'll get to the ground about 12 o'clock midday, and lay all the kit out before the players come. Basically similar to a home game. So they'll get there about 1:30 for away game, and they'll just walk in and everything's ready basically.
I mean, it takes away that worry of like getting stuff out and trying to rush and stuff like that. So when we do the kit up, basically every player gets their shorts, socks, pants, shin pad covers, shin pads, other accoutrements, all rolled up in a towel that's sellotaped up with a number on it.
Right.
So basically, that makes it really easy to just stuff out, put the numbers out, and then you're done. And then it's a case of doing all the other bits and bobs, like getting the drinks ready and stuff like that.
So is that the preparation you do then on Thursday, like you say? Is that literally getting all their little...
So literally we tend to, we have to even allow the players, you don't always know the team or the squad, so you have to allow for sometimes 20 odd players. And, and even a bit of guesswork half the time as well.
So you end up overpacking basically as well. So like me and Rocket all come in. It depends about 5, and then you get it all out, and then like Claire will help us as well, doesn't she? As well, to be fair to Claire, she helps us as well. And it's surprising how long it takes. Like it takes 3 of us, and if you think you've got all the kit together, and all you have to have, will take up to 15, 16 crates of water as well, as well as your water bottles, as well as Dougie gets all his own gear ready and stuff like that. But there's a lot of sorting out, basically.
Yeah. So we've got, in a couple of weeks' time, I think I'm right saying, we've got Accrington away on a Tuesday night.
We're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I bet you are. How do things go? Is it the same routine, just the days change round, or does it become a little bit more awkward?
Yeah, I think, it depends when we leave. We don't know when we're leaving, so if we'll probably be packing on the morning of Monday morning, I'd imagine. I guess we'll leave sort of 10, 11-ish.
It depends. It basically depends if it's train here first, then eat for the players, then travel. In that case, they'll be travelling about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and we'll be travelling with them. Sometimes we train on the way, so it depends what they sort out. Really.
Yeah, okay.
So basically, because it's a Tuesday night game, basically that takes Monday out. That means Monday as well.
Yeah,
because that's the only way you can get up there.
Yeah.
So for that one, we then play York on Saturday, which the players are getting a train to York. So we'll be driving up on Saturday morning with the kit.
And possibly Stuart as well.
I was just going to say, I've been fortunate enough to travel with the guys, and I have to say, there's a lot of stuff. I know we help as much as I can without getting in the way with the guys, and the crates. There's I think 2 metal crates. You got the
4 now.
Is there 4? Okay, look forward to that.
Grown up.
You've got the boards. You've got Dougie's gear. I'm assuming all the sort of. And there's a lot of stuff, and I've not done Accrington, so that sort of brings me to my next question, because I've been to York. And I think I've done Morecambe, and that was like a bit of chalk and cheese, because Morecambe's a new stadium, isn't it?
Yeah, it's nice.
And York's very much. I suppose in this league, what are your ones you look forward to going to, maybe, because you've got the facilities you need, and what are not the worst ones, because obviously I know Accrington's obviously an older ground. What ones you say that's a bit of a challenge to get everyone in and stuff like that?
It's probably similar to fans, what you always look forward to, sort of the Fratton Parks, the big grounds. Although that's not necessarily the nicest dressing room or the easiest, because you have some serious steps to get into that one.
Was that, sorry?
It's just the Fratton Park's got a lot of because it's an old school sort of stadium. It's got like stairs everywhere. Stairs are not our friend.
No, I can imagine
And then the more modern, like Morecambe's quite a nice one.
All the modern stadiums are basically designed.
Flat runs in.
The modern stadiums are basically designed with that in mind. So you go in through the entrance, and then you've not got a slog to get to the dressing room. It's all on one level. It's all flat, and it's normally a modern stadium. You're 30 seconds away from the dressing room, sort of thing. It's all on one level and stuff like that. So they're the sort of ones, and they're bigger and they're cleaner and they're tidier and stuff like that. Obviously, there's like say Aki's obviously quite a small dressing room and stuff like that, but
tiny dressing room,
tiny dressing room, and you get that's when you want to get to early, get everything ready, try and make as much space as possible, leave the tins outside and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it's fine. It's not a problem. It's just makes things a little bit harder. So.
Difficult. I imagine, I have to mention this one, I imagine Luton's quite a difficult one as well when it comes to stadiums to get in and out of.
It's not too bad. You're thinking of the away section, which is through someone's front garden, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we go. There's a car park, so basically you see. It's not the worst of it. There's a few stairs, and you're there, sort of thing. So it's a decent sized dressing room as well. So it's not. It's not.
I think Cardiff, certainly this season, has been the nicest, because it even had Sky TV in it for us.
Yeah, Sky. Yeah, it was. It's like it was huge as well.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Cardiff was lovely, wasn't it? Actually, it was a really nice ground to go to, wasn't it? Cardiff.
Man City's not bad either, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll come on to that.
Yeah, I'm sure. But no, Cardiff was nice. It would be nice. I can imagine that ground when it's full. With me quite
it looks well. They've thought about everything behind the scenes as well. Which is quite noticeable there.
Makes your job a lot
easier. There's loads of room, there's loads of space and stuff. Because you think, another thing you don't really think about was like all the players. We probably have 5 or 6 yoga mats at home games. The players can do their stretches and stuff like that. And again, when you get to a great game and you can barely get one down, you know what I mean? Again, players like to have a stretch. Sometimes they stretch and watch the telly, but they all Jimmy likes to have a stretch, and then as soon as you lose dressing rooms, but then they're all trying to go elsewhere and stuff like that. That's when basically you just try and get out of there as much as possible. And So I certainly get out of the way and then leave Rocket inside to do stuff, because Because I'm lazy. No, because it's just there's too many bodies in there. You find that odds and that away games and that they just get out of the way because you know what I mean. Once these Spanish start, there's just too many bodies about. Just try and keep it as easy as possible and clear as possible.
Brilliant.
Are there any players that have any then sort of other special requirements? They need something a little bit different as opposed to you talked about the different sort of socks and pants and whatever, but is there anything a little bit more unusual that some of them need or ask for, or any special routines they might have that you need to accommodate other than obviously
I think, well, every player has slightly different needs and wants, basically. I don't think anyone's the same, but none of them are, I wouldn't say any of them
massively demanding. No.
So what's this with, you said earlier, I caught about Bayo sleeping.
Yeah.
Is that his power nap then when he comes in?
But yeah, I think he can almost, he seems to be able to sleep anywhere, because he'll be, he has a specific physio bed at home games where he'll come in and he'll just have a sleep, even though the stereo is literally a metre from him blaring out.
He might just be resting his eyes.
He's been on we've done a kit run with him on the back of the coach sleeping as well. So I think basically has a power nap before a game.
I'm jealous of those people that can sleep anywhere. Yeah, I can't do it. But,
I don't think I've ever slept on the coach.
No.
I even came back from Hartlepool at 3 in the morning where everyone else is asleep and I'm just there sort of like glassy-eyed and thinking I really should be asleep, and you just still can't sleep on the coach.
Yeah. I mean, Hartlepool away is a great example. Like, I know we did that for the first time last season, but like, how many hours must you have put into sort of that whole getting everything ready, travelling up, travelling back down? I think it's something that we wanted to highlight because obviously you guys are doing this for free. You're volunteers, so like.
I'm not sure we've ever really measured it. I'm not sure we've ever. I mean, we did a list. Funny enough, we did a list in the summer, and we just kept adding stuff to it, adding stuff to it, and then you think, yeah, but then we get because we buy the food as well. I normally buy the food, so you buy the food. I don't pay for it. I get the money back, but I like doing the job, but I don't like it that. No, you think so? We get the food, so like make sure there's toast and jam and stuff like that on the coach, and then there's bread and stuff like that, and we have to get the toasters on and stuff like that. So. It's one of the, you're in a routine of doing stuff. And
it's made up of lots of little
jobs. Yeah,
particularly hard. It's just lots of.
And to be fair, we've forgotten footballs once, haven't we?
This is debatable.
Well, no.
When they needed them for the warm up, they were at the game.
Yeah, they were. So it was a bit skittish. They were collected by Claire as opposed to being on the coach 2.5 hours earlier than they should have done. I would say that means forgetting. We've forgot a microwave before. I forgot a microwave before, so we had to get an emergency microwave. Thank God for cheap Tesco's.
But we've never turned up with the wrong kit or anything like that.
No, we've never turned up with the wrong kit.
10 years, touch wood.
Which does happen. You see it happen more often than you'd think. So
that brings us to an interesting point, because one of the moans that you have, Nick, I'm sure you're going to bring out at some point.
About away kits.
Now today we had Barnet who were in their, was that away kit?
That was their away kit, purple and yellow, purple and white hoops. Sorry.
So how? I imagine it's logistics as well. How's a kit selected? Obviously we don't clash. How can this kit be selected sometimes?
Over to Rocket.
Basically, at the start of the season, we work out what games we need to change for away games, which probably isn't that many, really. But there is obviously logistical reasons. It's hard to for wear and tear. Certainly, you can't wear the home kit every game. Then say we've got the Tuesday game or Saturday then Tuesday particularly. There's a lot of washing there to do. I think there's at least 10, 12 loads washing machine loads.
I kind of begin to think
towels, warm-up stuff, jumpers, coats, rain jackets, and then obviously the playing kit as well. So that's another reason it's difficult to do all the washing before, say, a Tuesday game. So we wear an away. We tend to wear an away kit for an away game.
Yeah. We've spoken before, and we Stu and I have had this discussion with many people who keep telling me, we totally appreciate the turnaround of kits and stuff is a real pain. This season, though, and this isn't actually my moan, this is more of Stu's moan actually, is that why is it this season always been the green kit as opposed to the white, which is the official, if I believe, away kit?
Technical reasons, I think, is pretty easy. Although,
do you want me to leave it?
The white kit is about to make an appearance, so.
Are we
Keep your eyes
at
peeled.
White at Oxford? Is
Well,
that a 9 years podcast exclusive? Of
Possibly.
sorts? There we go. We'll take that. We'll have that.
That's the smallest ever exclusive. Isn't it?
Yeah, that is pretty much. Yeah,
That's quite big for you, for your kids.
yeah. That is a big one for the kids. But thank you very much.
I don't expect to see it often this season, though. I don't think.
No, we're due next season. We're due a new home and away, aren't we?
A new home and away.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that'd be. So we keep the green.
Keep the green,
Keep the
yeah.
green.
Yeah.
Which I think is quite grown on me after it being quite initially a bit of a shock.
Yes,
Yeah.
I still remember. For those who are not aware, we launched it at the Meet the Manager, which is a really good event every summer, and they unveiled it under some tarpaulin, wasn't it? It was it was done at Hart.
Wimbledon banner, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah, sorry. And they done that, and it was interesting when they revealed it. It was interesting silence. I think some people liked it straight away. I think you either liked it or you didn't like it. But one thing I'll say about the club, we can't moan that we don't try out new kits. You know, we don't go for boring stuff. We do. You know. So the green actually, it's growing on me a little bit. I think 'cause I'm seeing it.
I think it's nice to have because we've always tended to have blue, white, and yellow kits.
Yeah.
So it's nice to think we've had a completely different kit.
I'd have no idea how well it's selling, so it'd be interesting to see how well it sells as well.
Yeah, like
I've seen quite a lot of them about.
There's a lot about.
Anecdotally, you see a lot of them
of them,
about.
yeah,
I think it's different. That shit was a shock, but you see a lot of people. Boys quite like it, don't they? Players quite like it.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's had the players obviously. Yeah, I see a few players actually say it's their favourite of the kids.
Yeah,
so you can't really complain.
Okay.
I definitely like the fact we've tried something different. Is there any chance for a pink away kit?
We don't have any input in the matter, so I ain't got a clue. I'd be amazed, frankly. I think it'd be great.
I think the powers that be don't really like it.
Because Northampton the other night.
I don't think the players would object necessarily. So
I'm going to make it happen somehow. That's going to be if we do nothing else with this podcast, it will be to get the team in a pink kit. If you're interested, then every week we do our little birthday game where Stu has to guess the ages of a famous person that celebrated a birthday in the past week. Do you want to have a crack at this one? Without your poetry, I'm afraid. You can have the mirror reader then. Robin, let's start with you then. So, sadly, I have read these this morning and I've remembered them. So, are you a Strictly Come Dancing fan by chance?
Well, I'm usually my coach. So that's my.
This is true.
Well, I watch it anyway.
No, I'm not a fan of Strictly Come Dancing, but I am a fan of this particular dancer. So, you might have a chance with Ola Jordan, and how old might she be? Any ideas?
She's the blonde.
She's the blonde, yeah.
You do watch it.
Yeah, you know straight away. Yeah.
Let's go. 29.
She's not far off, actually. You know what? She's 33. I think she's looking good for 33. Then that's coming from me, who's pretty
It's
much the
makeup.
same age.
It's makeup, isn't it? They all get away with it. Anyway.
Yeah, you keep offending the women, Stu. Right. Trevor, sporting one, Martina Hingis.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's what I know.
She's probably started quite young, didn't she?
Yeah, she did.
So she had a few incidents. So I'd say not as old as you think. So 37.
Oh, that's so close. 35. 35, that's good.
She's back on the scene as well now.
Is she? Well, you would know.
Believe she is.
Yeah. I think Robin and Trevor.
the tennis.
Right, okay, yeah. Before you start more trouble. Robin and Trevor are actually better at this game than you, Stu, and you play every week. So Stu, you can get the last one, mirror reader. Sue Miller from Manchester.
Sue Miller. So last week we had an old person.
We did.
93, wasn't it? So I reckon you've probably gone for something a bit different this time.
I can't choose the birthdays. They have their birthdays when they have their birthdays.
Let's go for something like 40.
So is this an average Daily Mirror reader?
Yeah, they just pick a random person every day. Like every day you'll get a birthdays list and it'll say at the end, and such mirror reader from, like, Forest Green.
That's the smallest birthday treat in the world, isn't it?
Well, yeah.
And I never cheat and I never get the mirror. I should do.
You should. Well, yeah, I thought you would have caught on to this by now.
I'd like to be rubbish at this game.
You are rubbish at this game. She's 55, so you are actually the furthest away of anyone today. So
I was supposed to be nice. She was a lady, so I was being nice and not making sure of real age.
So that brings us to the end of part one of our interview with Trevor Williams and Robin Bedford. As we say, we'll have the second half of that interview next week. Stu, I have a feeling, I mean, we spoke for about, over an hour on Saturday. I have a feeling that we could have probably spent a good few hours in there discussing Wimbledon memories.
Yeah, we could do. It was a really good, actually. It was our first for 9-year podcast to sort of take it on the road, and what a better way to start with Trevor and Robin. It was really good. It was after we managed to do it after a home win, so we're all quite up in our spirits. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I think it's something we're going to do throughout the season, but it'd be pretty nice to revisit at some point with Trevor and that down the line, because we could have spoken for ages. I think we only touched the surface, didn't we, really, of it?
Yeah, definitely. I think touched the surface is a good phrase. I think there was a lot more we could have gone if time had allowed. But as I say, next week we're back for part 2, and we'll be talking more about Trevor and Robin's experience in previous years with the club, maybe back into the non-league days, and we will be talking about their Wimbledon FC memories, as well as their memories of that famous day at the City of Manchester Stadium when we won promotion back to the Football League. Rest of today's show, though, and I'm going to pass over to Stu now. Stu, obviously we're catching up on ourselves a little bit, so we interviewed Trevor and Robin on Saturday. Monday night, however, you went down to Merstham for the Development League game against a club that we shall not mention, the club that shall not be named.
Yeah, well, I've done some updates on our AFCW Scope Twitter feed, and I named them the opposition because that's all they were to me. I didn't really want to name them. But yeah, I went down to Merstham on Monday. I went down there quite a lot last year. Really, really enjoyed it. Seeing the likes of Adi Aziz and Will Nightingale down last year. So this year, same setup. We're still down at Merstham, who look after us really well. We had, I think it was Development Cup last night, which is, from memory, is a group. So we've got a few teams in that. But yeah, we've got, I think next week we've got Southend, I believe, on Monday, although I did notice the official site had that removed. So people, please check that before you go down. But it's £5 to get in down there. It was wet, which is, I don't think I've ever been to Merstham without it being wet. It's just always cold. It's just in the middle of nowhere. Fortunately for me, it's about 5 minutes from where I work. But yeah, the attendance last night was Eric, Neil Wildley, Neil Cox, Stuart Douglas. They all turn up to watch the kids. So last night, team news wise, we had Joe O'Donnell, Sweeney, and a trialist from QPR. We had right back was Callum Wilson, and left back was Ben Harrison. In midfield was Danny Gallagher and Christian Tunga. And then we had Kennedy on the left-hand side and Tom Beer on the right. And up front was George Oakley and David Fitzpatrick. How's that for a recital of the kit of the team, mate? That
was fantastic, Stu. I'm very glad, as you were going through that team sheet, I was wondering about Fitzpatrick and wondering if he was going to be in the team. So I'm glad to see he's still alive and kicking at the moment, even if first team opportunities seem a bit limited at the moment. There are two things I'd just like to pick you up on. One, obviously, by last night, of course, you mean Monday night.
Of course.
You're just having one of these episodes you have sometimes. And you mentioned a long list there of staff from AFC Wimbledon. Were there any staff from the other club?
There wasn't. That's the one thing that we noticed last night, was there was literally very, very little from them. I noticed one person walking up to where the seats were. We sat last night because it was just chucking down rain, who had a logoed top on, but to be fair, he looked very shifty, as if wasn't too sure if people were going to talk to him. And to be fair, no one did.
No, but he should be used to being a social leopard by now, I would have thought.
So, as I'm obviously I'm a football fan, so I always do look at. One thing I would say, when we went to that ground last year and we got beat, one of the things I did say out of looking from a football point of view was they were probably the best footballing team we played in terms of and I mean that in people that know me, I'm a football fan, not a fan of them, but they were very, very good footballers. Their youth team is exactly the same in terms of they play out from the back, which was really interesting because we played so high last night. We literally were all really camped in their half and broke them down a number of times. But
by high, you mean we pressed high at the pitch?
Yeah,
we weren't turning up sort of.
Well, there was a definite atmosphere last night that was not normally at under 21 games, the Development League games. So there was when I go there, a lot of the parents. So I do know a lot of the parents from Wade. I get on well with Ben Harrison's dad because of under 21 games that I've been. George Oakley. Will Nightingale was down there on his crutches last night, which was really good to see.
Well, hold on. It was good to see Will Nightingale. It wasn't good to see Will Nightingale on his crutches.
Well, it's good to see. It's good to see that he was getting out and about, not dwelling on the fact that he's obviously got the injury, but also going down to support a lot of people that he was there. Like he was with them last year, so it was really good. I sat very just behind him actually, and a lot of the youth team and they all come over and say hello. You can tell Will's a very well liked individual, and he was good. I chat with him. I know his dad from a previous games and that, so they said that the club are looking after him really well, getting a lot of support and still feeling a part of the squad, which I think it's good for Will. He's obviously he got into the squad and he got his injury, which is really sad, but still a part of the team, and I think you will see quite a lot of him out and about this season, and let's look forward to when he comes back.
What was the result in the end on Monday?
Yeah, it was a 1-1 draw. Like I say, winning goalless at half time. George Oakley scored it was a bit of a scramble. Candy put the ball in, it bobbled around, and then Oakley managed to scramble it home. From there, we had a lot of chances, just couldn't really get the second goal. Got a lot of threats from Callum Kennedy on the left-hand side. And we had good delivery from both sides. And interesting we've been talking about free kicks and now dead ball. It was interesting to see Callum Kennedy taking some decent corners. And Tom Beer, also decent delivery. Tom is one of my... I'm a big fan of Tom Beer, and last night he had a few shots, and he's got a knack for just being in the right position, and he's got a hell of a shot on him. So I really hope we can find a place for Tom in our first team squad. I'm not saying the start, but I really think now he needs to get to that next stage.
Yeah, but it's very encouraging to see that production line of academy players, very much like the old Wimbledon, still continues.
Definitely.
Looking ahead then to this weekend, we are away at Oxford. At this stage of the game, I'm not 100% certain of my attendance, but Stu, you will be going up to the Kassam Stadium, all three sides of it. Very quick prediction.
Yeah, I think we'll probably come away with a draw. They're doing okay this season, aren't they? I think we're a very dogged team, especially away from home. I don't see us getting beat on Saturday, but I don't see us being too adventurous either. I think we're probably quite happy to take a draw. We've got a tough couple of games coming up, haven't we? We've got, with the back-to-back away games up at Accrington and York, with also Morecambe and Hartlepool. Probably with the exception of Morecambe, to be fair, who dropped off a little bit. It's a reasonably tough end of the month, isn't it? So.
And what a grim list of sounding teams, with all due respect to these places. Accrington, Morecambe, Hartlepool, wow. York. God, it's grim, isn't it? Grim.
They're all northern. They're all northern, I know that thing. I must admit, I'll just go to restart my story, actually. I was going to the gentleman's at Wimbledon at Kings Meadow, and I remember just looking, they've obviously got the advertising boards in the toilets with obviously a list of games.
Yeah.
And I just thought, oh my days, that is, Morecambe, Hartlepool. I'm like, that's really exciting. It's difficult, isn't it? It's sometimes it's really weird with this division. We've got a lot of teams that we've now played quite a lot of times, and Morecambe doesn't really inspire with much of. We should turn them over. Hartlepool are doing well. They're my sort of outside tip for a playoff. I still stand by that, really, but it's going to be a tough month. So I think we'll probably quite happily take a draw. We've got the Morecambe after that, haven't we? Try and get a home win, and then really try and get something out of what we never get anything at Accrington, York, and then Hartlepool. So, and then I think that brings us into the FA Cup, doesn't it? If I'm looking that far ahead,
it will bring us into the FA Cup,
when all the excitement starts.
It will indeed, and hopefully that will coincide with the 9 Years podcast FA Cup special. But to be confirmed, shall we say? All right, thank you very much, Stu. For those of you worried or wondering, do not worry. Gary will be returning to the show once the police have finished their inquiries. But for this week, we are going to say our farewells. Please remember, next week we'll be broadcasting our second part of our Trevor Williams and Robin Bedford interview, talking many memories of Wimbledon FC and AFC Wimbledon. But for now, thank you very much, Stu.
Thank you.
And thank you very much for listening. Remember, updates from Oxford will be available at AFCW Scope on Twitter and on Periscope. Remember to register your vote for the Back Into Ticks campaign. And come back next week when we'll be joined by Brendan Rodgers. And we ask him if he's finally going to reveal which 3 players are going to let him down. We'll see you then.